What's up, guys, and welcome to BitCast, episode 132 for the month of March 2026. I'm your host, Jake Martin, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend, Landry Smith.
Good to see you, Jake.
Good to see you too, dude. It's I feel like I say this every time, and I think I've said that every time, but it's been a minute.
Hey, you got to be consistent, right? You got to be consistent. It has been a minute. We got crazy things going on in our lives, and I'm just happy to be here, talk about some video games for 45 minutes or less, man.
Yeah, we're shooting for a more consolidated episode. But yeah, if you're tuning in, sorry it's been so long. We had an idea to podcast at the end of the year last year, and just we didn't get it together. And every month, Landry and I have like chatted like, "Do you want a podcast? Let's just push a little bit. Nothing's going on, or let's
kicking the can down the road.
How does this week sound?" And like one of us would be like, "Oh no, this is a bad week. No, definitely can't this week.
Like,
let's try next week."
Having a baby this week. We're gonna have to push it off till January, and then other things ensued.
Yeah, we've had a lot of big life changes. You know, you're growing your family, and I'm changing jobs. So there's a lot of big life things happening, all good things. But yeah, so I am excited to officially sit down and just chill with you and just do what we do best and just talk about nerdy stuff and anything else that's going on in our lives. So quick run of show for y'all. We are discussing the state of play, where we're at with the consoles, PC, subscription services, all that jazz. Landry has a new segment that I'm excited about. We're naming it right now, Let's Fix That. And we pick a topic in the industry that needs to be fixed. And Landry has chosen this show's topic, so I'm excited to hear from him. And then we'll be doing just a quick segment on what you're playing and maybe skill tree trivia. We'll see if I sneak it in or not. If you are listening, though, and you're a fan of the show, be sure to leave reviews. And that's all I'll say on that end. Let's jump on over to the topic of the month. The state of play. Not to be confused with PlayStation's state of play, Landry.
Yeah, I was thinking that earlier. So which direction are we going in here?
The state of where we are in the industry with video games, specifically concerning consoles, just PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. There's been a lot of things that have happened in the last month, I feel like, with PlayStation just shutting down. What was the live service game that they just launched?
High Guard.
Hard, thank you. The fact that I couldn't even think of the name paints a picture, but that, and then Xbox getting rid of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, and now appointing a new CEO and all that jazz, and Matt Booty stepping in his role. Just a lot of big change ups. I think I saw some rumblings about their next console and what that was looking like. So just things are changing. And we'll see if they're for the better or not. But top of the list here, Landry, I kind of wanted to talk to you just about like console health. How are you feeling just in general about the big three?
I think that the big three will probably kind of fade into obscurity pretty soon. I think we're going to be dealing with two essentially, and I think Xbox is still struggling with an identity crisis. I don't know if their new CEO is going to be able to pull them out of it. They're kind of hybrid between a console and a PC idea.
Yeah.
It always sounds so good. It sounds so like friendly for what everybody wants to hear, but it seems to me like they're pushing it in this direction that's like, well, we just kind of want to put a box out there it's more like a PC, but it's really just focused on games and if it's a box that plays PC games and runs on a Windows software and plays video games, it kind of just seems like a PC to me. But I think PlayStation's in a really good spot, not because they've done a lot to put themselves there. I think they've been coasting and probably had one of the worst console generations I can ever remember. Like way worse than their PS3 generation as far as like things to play and value for gamers and stuff. It's just the competition was so much fiercer back then. So
Yeah.
everybody has to buy a PlayStation now because otherwise you're left with Xbox, which is, despite their consumer friendly subscription service, which started out that way definitely towards the beginning of the
It's
generation.
friendly
Now
anymore.
it's like, it's absurd. $30 a month is too much money, I think, to spend on any subscription service. So
Hmm.
I think we're left with PlayStation being a really good deal. Still for what they offer if you're into subscription services. I'm not. I don't. I've decided for me that that stuff's just not for me at all. I'm the kind
Yeah.
of guy who's going to buy 4 or 5 games a year. I'd
Yep.
rather just choose those and not spend $15 a month on something that I might get excited for. I might get a little dopamine hit like the 8th day of the month it comes out and I fire it up and I'm like, "Oh man, I wish I hadn't spent the one night I get to game, every
Trying
2
this
or 3
game I didn't
days
really care
trying
about.
this game idea I didn't have fun with." So I'm over that phase of my life. And
Yeah.
Nintendo just chugging along, man. Nintendo's Nintendo, and they're
Just
they're kicking
coasting.
butt.
Yeah. I think you kind of you nailed it. I think that was a good synopsis. Yeah, it very much feels like both PlayStation and Xbox have had very weak generations in terms of like big hitters. Um,
Yeah,
I don't feel like I've really felt anything special about the PlayStation. Um, and yeah, in regards to like exclusives, it just feels like Xbox is floundering, still trying to get something to land that really catches the world on fire. And not that they always have to have that. They could just always be a middle grade company that has all like a bunch of really good games, but nothing that's like a system seller. And yeah, I think Nintendo is just going to keep doing Nintendo. But I would also say that like they haven't had a standout launch with the Switch 2 yet. Just looking at
yeah,
what they brought forward so far. Pokopia I'm playing right now is awesome.
yeah.
It really
Seems
is
like it.
great.
And I think it's capturing the zeitgeist a little bit, which is,
Hmm.
I think, honestly, is surprising Nintendo. I don't think they expected this to happen.
I there's no way. I mean, like maybe they just did a bad job marketing this. Maybe they knew they had a hit, but like when they marketed it, I was just like, this is Animal Crossing, but like janky ditto. Uh,
Did you ever play Dra-
mm-mm.
Dragon
No,
Quest Builders? Okay, that
no.
game was really good. I never finished it or anything because, as fun as it was so addictive. I was like, it was at a time in my life where I was like, I don't have time to be playing this because it's a game you can sink 100 hours into.
Yes,
But the
dude.
mechanics were so addictive and they were so
Yes.
snappy, and it was giving me everything that you get out of like a Stardew or an Animal Crossing,
Hmm.
but in a more structured way. It seems like Pokopia is the exact same thing. I haven't played it yet. But
Yeah.
I'm noticing some cool little differences with Pokopia. I think just the IP alone gives it that power.
Pokemon is a huge
Um,
lift. Yeah.
and they're doing it. It seems like they did a good job, like bringing a lot of character and love to
Hmm.
that franchise, which is cool. In Dragon Quest, as much as I love it, like every game is a different set of characters. So you're just kind of like, oh, it's the music from Dragon Quest, but what else is a slime? Okay, cool. It's
Right.
there's less to work with that IP, I think.
Whole lot more Pokemon lore for sure. Yeah.
But it looks like
30
Builders
years of it.
3, which is pretty sweet. And, add a little Nintendo sprinkle of, quality of
Quality.
design. And, it looks like the Animal Crossing UI is there. It looks pretty sweet. So I'll be getting that eventually. But I agree, the launch of the Switch, we talked about it a lot last year. It
Hmm.
didn't really hit for either of us. I mean, their two heavy hitters were Donkey Kong, which I think is a flawed game, to say the least, and
Yeah.
Mario Kart World, which is a great game, but also a little flawed in that it didn't really execute its main core concept very well.
Hmm.
So,
Didn't make you want to come back and keep playing. You're just like, all right, yeah, I mean, I've
a
experienced it
little bit of
and kind of
a
kind of
fumble
bored.
out of the gate from Nintendo, who last generation just didn't really miss with any of their big franchises. They were just so
Yeah.
consistently not just great, but like, wow, this is like, uh, you know, genre, like one of the peaks of the genre of whatever game it was.
Right.
So
Right.
Metroid Prime 4 was kind of another one that didn't meet expectations. It was still a really good game. It was one of my personal favorites of last year. But
Yeah. Still not making waves in the way that Nintendo has been
right,
historically. So, I think to compare Nintendo to like 2017 Switch release is, a little unfair because I do feel like it's one of those just golden years where they had all these games just in the backlogs ready to launch. And like, I don't know if we'll get that again, but I have confidence that Nintendo will put out, when the next 3D Mario comes out, I think that'll be a big moment. I'm hoping this year because I have it in my fantasy draft or my fantasy critic. So,
and I care way too much about that fantasy draft for something that is like hardly talked about and for zero money or like anything. I mean, I'm just like always like, oh, I can't wait to win this.
Just fun to check in.
Right yeah.
Matthew stole Pokopia from me. There was like a few that I wanted to grab, and I was like, dang it.
Yeah, a good steal.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now. And then in terms of the subscription models, which you talked about, Game Pass, as you already mentioned, overpriced for what it is now. I don't feel like it's pulling in as many people as it once did. PS Plus is honestly, I also don't feel the incentive to pay for the higher priced models or options that they have. So I'm just shooting for the basic one, just so I have online
$70
access.
a year is not egregious. I like that one.
I think it's more than that now, Landry. I'm pretty certain that it's like, what is it now? I don't want to look it up. What is the base price of PS Plus? Let's see.
Well, while you're doing that, I think the Nintendo yearly model is very affordable. For how long, I don't know, but I think it's great. And I do the expansion pack with that, and I have no qualms with that. It's all old games, but that's right up my alley. I play a lot of retro games. I love the convenience of having some GameCube games now with expansion pack. So
$80 a year. $80 a year for that. So just a little bit higher. I think Nintendo still is the best subscription model if you're going to pay for anything. The only difference is you're not getting new or new-ish games delivered on a regular cadence. You're just getting only retro titles with that. So it's like, all right, but that's what I care about. I just finished playing Ocarina of Time on NSO and it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've been playing some Wind Waker sporadically. But also now that Switch 2, like a low-key kind of like cool thing about Switch 2 is that some of the online games are actually like running really well. So I'm okay to I like to play Rocket League now and again or 2K. And the Switch 2 versions are really good. And now I can have a cheaper online internet model than I did with PlayStation. So I haven't resubscribed to PlayStation Plus. I'm doing my Rocket League, get my Rocket League kick on the Switch, so pretty sweet.
Speaking, not totally related to that, but yeah, I remember the Rocket League port just originally looking like trash on the original Switch, not running well, and now that it's actually running the way it's supposed to, that's great. I also think it's cool that we're getting modern ports on the Switch too. I don't know if you saw that Resident Evil Requiem, the newest one, is on Switch.
I can't wait to get that. That looks so great. And
it performs pretty well. People are like, yeah, it's actually, it looks good.
Capcom, it's they get a lot of credit now, but it's been a long time coming. Their port game has been insane to Nintendo consoles. Literally since
their port game in general has just been insane. To just everything that they're doing, I just feel like is crazy.
They're really good studio. Everything's they're doing great things. Street Fighter 6, by the way, on the Switch 2, it looks incredible and it plays great. The frame rate's great too. So
they must have gotten some of that Nintendo magic sprinkled on their studio as well.
Yeah.
Here's how you develop games and keep them really small. All right. Last thing, PC versus console trade-offs. So actually on the subscription stuff, do you feel like we mentioned Nintendo's one that's worth it? Is there a point where the subscriptions just go away, or do you think that's the future of where we're going to be?
I think about this a lot. I know for me, I'm off of subscriptions, man. We've deleted them streaming subscriptions a lot at the beginning of the year, and it might be a thing where there's a new season of something we really like, so we'll just one streaming service a month or whatever. It gets to the point to where you have over $100. It's just not worth it, and then you're just you almost feel obligated to waste your time consuming and consuming and consuming because you're paying for all this stuff. And I'm I have other interests, man. Like I want to sit down and read a book. I want to invest my time in other things that a little more wisely. So it just that kind of like magnet to the content and the price is ballooning. I think there's too many negatives, and so also the fact that these are all corporations and the simple fact that they have to churn out so much content and it's all kind of like middle of the road. I see that a lot with Xbox. Like they have so many different brands and so much content, and just because they're cranking out great like 7 out of 10 and 8 out of 10 games is great, but they don't have anything that moves the needle. They don't have anything that brings people in or can
Yeah.
make somebody an Xbox fan. um, and I kind of feel that way about like all Netflix shows. They also kind of seem like they're lit the same way and shot the same way, and they're obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're
Yeah.
AI or anything. That's not what I'm saying. But they obviously have like, and studios have done this for years, since the 20s. They have like an algorithm, and they're going to hit that algorithm, and it just you kind of feel like you're watching the same thing over and over again. And
Mhm.
I think the subscription model is bad for content creators or art in general. And I
Creativity.
do
Yeah.
think that, yes, I think it may go away. I think obviously, media shifts constantly. It'd be foolish to say that this model is going to stick forever, but I think it
Yeah.
might go away sooner than we expect.
Yeah. And I mean, like, to your point, I think something that's signaling companies thinking about this more. PlayStation just this week, I think, said that they were done bringing their games to PC. They were
Yeah.
just like, we're just not going to do that anymore. And that's kind of them taking a step back from like putting their content everywhere. Now, obviously, that was a business decision for them to try and get more people onto their hardware and earning cuts from all the different ways that people would be playing games on their console, so they can get a 30% store cost on that. But I think like
That's a good thing for them on the creator side as well, so they don't have to split studio time to port
developing
games.
for different, yeah,
More than
yeah,
likely, they'll just cut jobs instead. But
yeah. But I think this like this idea of getting back to specialization and locking in on the things that you want to do well. I think Asha Sharma, the new person heading up the Xbox games division, she came out basically and just said like we want to get back into that. We want to get back into this idea. I forget the exact quote, but her whole shtick was like, let's make Xbox what Xbox is known for and learn what makes this business work again. Because I think she's saying that everyone's realizing that it's broken. It's been said that people have been saying that for a long time.
yeah.
So hopefully the fix is coming soon. We'll see.
I think that Xbox actually has its first interesting year lined up for me that I've seen in a long time. Like Forza Horizon 6 looks really cool.
Mhm.
And I actually am probably going to buy that just because I love Japan. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. It just looks cool to drive around that place. The graphics, like, it's one of those like first next gen games where even though we're like 5 years into the generation, where I looked at it and I saw the video and I was like, this is stunning. Like this just looks amazing and I can't wait to experience it. And
Yeah.
then Fable, like I'm a huge Fable fan.
Fable's a
Fables
big one for
1
me.
and 2 are like some of my favorite games ever. I've been replaying some of Fable 2 and the frame rate is absolutely dog water, but otherwise it's such a
still
good
good.
game. It's so fun. But
And Halo campaign involved coming
oh
over
yeah.
to PS5.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so
So
stoked all of those are coming to PlayStation because to be honest, I just have not ever liked Xbox, the consoles, except for the original Xbox. Um, so I'm just excited to play it on my PlayStation with the PlayStation controller and on their interface.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm stoked about that. I'll be
yeah,
an
me too.
Xbox fanboy for the first time since like 2003 this year.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Landry, do you think that consoles are for simpletons who just want to play games, and PCs are for people that want to play high spec shooters and get the most out of a game graphically?
No, no, I think that I think there's a lot of that in PCs. Like I love to geek out over technology, and I love to see. I've never had the money or the budget to. I mean, I could make a budget to geek out on tech to where like I'm always getting the nicest things and maxing them out. I've always been a budget tech guy though. I love to like go to yard sales and get like really cool
Oh,
old
I know.
things that I can beef up and stuff. So that's never been my scene. However, I respect it, and I think that that's cool. I just, for me, also the games that I'm into, which are like narrative-driven single-player experiences. I feel like those have always been more on the console side.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
and, excluding like always wanting to play Half-Life for like half of my life.
life.
But those are on consoles. So now,
Yeah,
but I remember, there's always it seems like every couple years there's a PC game that just really gets me, and I'm like, oh, I want to play that so bad.
yeah.
But that probably just will never be for me.
Okay. Yeah, that was the last thing I just wanted to talk about really quickly, just because there is this like merging of the PCs and consoles. We're getting so much closer to what a PC actually is, especially with Steam now announcing the Steam machine, which I'm really excited about as well. I don't know if I'll buy one of those, but just basically giving people the console experience with Steam.
Yeah, depending on what that is, that may be my PC entrance. My onboarding to play the PC
It,
experience.
I mean, I have a Steam Deck, and the fact that that thing can play a majority of the games that I'm interested in has been great for me. Like, I
Yeah.
don't play it all the time, but every now and then I'll see an indie come out that I know I want to check out, and I'm like, sweet, I'll get it on Steam Deck, and I can play it handheld, or I can play it on my computer if I want, and it works fine.
Dude, Mini Shoot Adventures, you could have played that last year on a Steam Deck, and I'm playing on the Switch now, and that game is freaking awesome.
Oh, you got it for Steam Deck or for
Yeah,
Switch?
Switch. Yeah, it's
It's
so
great,
good.
right?
I'm really into it. I'm actually kind of like I don't understand why more people aren't talking about it. I think it's a pretty solid game.
It's great. I think I remember Sam Claiborne talking about it on GameScoop a year, like forever ago, and I picked it up on Steam Deck, and it's awesome. It's just Zelda space shooties. It's great.
Yeah, the Nintendo voice chat crew was singing its praises, like throwing around tens for
Oh,
the game, and I
I
was
mean, it
like,
is
"Ooh,
good.
I gotta try that out because I love Zelda likes, and I like a good shooter as well. If it's for noobs, like I need it to be easy, and
It
it
gets a
is.
little hard in certain spots, but for the most part, yeah, you can get through it, and it's a fun little adventure. I'm glad you're playing that. That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to 2026. I hope that things get healthier, and we see some games come out that really excite and get people back on board for their console of choice.
I think we will. I think this is going to be a turnaround year. I really do.
I hope so. I hope so. But speaking of turning things around, Landry, let's jump over to our next segment. Let's fix that.
Yeah,
Uh,
man. So, do you
so
want you launch us into this thing?
I'll try to launch us in. So let's be honest. The industry has some pretty boo-boo practices that have built up over the years, and Landry and I, we know all there is to know about everything. So in this segment, we're dropping truth bombs and knowledge that you've never laid ears on. And this is Let's Fix That. So the first one that Landry picked out for us to talk about is, you coined this term, which I don't think I've actually heard, E-Slop.
I did not coin that term. I've definitely heard it before. I don't know where. I don't know where. I'm sorry, I can't give credit to that. But some YouTuber somewhere has talked about it before. But basically, I think if we're gonna fix the state of the video game industry, which this could be a well that we go back to over and over and over again because there's so many things that need to be fixed. But when you click on the PlayStation Store or the eShop, I mean, it is just flooded with games that I cannot imagine anyone ever wanting to buy. Whether it's like with the PlayStation Store, you'll click on the deals tab, and I know you can filter this out, but it's like 45 listings of 45-cent DLC for one game
Yep.
before you get to like the next game. Like
Hmm.
that is stupid. You should have to filter that in to look for it specifically. No one wants to see that.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's other things like dark patterns where, games are labeled, titled things that are like very close to like Call of Duty or The Last of Us that would make like
Yeah.
maybe some dumb parent or even a dumb kid click on something thinking they're buying the new thing they want to get. There's you know games that are like 97 cents that are obviously made with like AI assets that just need to be filtered
Fresh.
out. Like, why are these on the shop? Why are these being okayed? Why are these being verified to be sold? And then, especially as a father, you click into these shops and you look at the title cards of some of the games, and they're like extremely explicit. And I'm like, dude, I what do I just have to unhook my consoles from the internet so my kids can't accidentally stumble on something like that? I don't want to have to
Hentai Beach Moms 4
yeah,
Supermax, and it's like
exactly.
what is this? And it's like a puzzle game, or something like
Yeah.
any of, like, it's like that's all it ever is. It's just like these, they're just repeats, rip-offs, and people just throwing crap at the
And
wall
those games, like
hoping
the
that
one you
someone
just
buys it.
mentioned, like there will be like 84 listings of a game that looks exactly like this
Exactly the
and
same.
that. It's like it's everywhere. So I just think like one of the solutions, and maybe you have solutions or maybe you have other things that you've seen on these stores, but like it should be someone's full-time job to verify these games before they go in. And I think it would be pretty easy to just like cut out 50% of them, if not more. And yeah, it kind of gets dicey where it's like what does it take to make the cut, but these corporations can come up with pretty clear guidelines, but like you shouldn't be able to name your game in a way that is trying to trick other people to buy your game. And Nintendo did this in the 80s. This is why I'm so surprised that this is an issue on Nintendo's eShop, and I
It
think it's
all started with
because
the Wii.
yeah, well, I don't
Shovelware.
think there was nearly as much malicious software on the Wii U. I think it was just a bunch of people trying to get a cash grab
Hmm.
in less malicious ways. I think it's much more malicious now because there is no content barrier. But like if you remember then in on the NES, they basically were like, even if you're Konami or Capcom, you can only release 5 games a year. And that's
Hmm.
why Konami created a second label named Ultra to release like another 5 games.
Smart.
So I think they could probably do something like, if you're an independent developer, you should only be able to release like 2 games a year.
If that.
Um,
Yeah.
if that, yeah, absolutely. So those are some
Yeah.
ideas. Yeah.
No, I like the kind of the threshold of limiting the amount of games you can publish to a store. Because yeah, it does feel like there should be a team basically that reviews and vets things that actually gets placed onto the eShop. Because the ideal experience, let's think about like an equivalent here. Like think of like your favorite retail store to go to. Like I love going to Best Buy because it has so much crap in there that speaks to me. Things that I am intrigued by. I don't really care. I'm not going to be buying a sound system, but I love going back there and looking at the sound
Yeah. Oh yeah,
systems. You
absolutely.
know, I love how like curated it all is. There's like streaming stuff. There's like a tech area. There's a car area. There's an appliance area. And when you go there now, I don't know if this is the same for you, Landry, but I feel like they've had someone that knows who their audiences are and said, okay, hey, here's the stuff that we want to place in our store that will have the highest chance of being bought, and we want to really appeal to these people, and make them feel like when they come here, it's a good experience. Now, like compare that now to like the eShop experience, where maybe at one point, like the idea could have been, hey, we're going to police everything that comes on here. Obviously, our stuff's going to be released, but then anybody that wants to partner on here, like we're going to vet this. And whenever a customer comes into our digital eShop, they can like browse through here knowing that like everything that they're looking at is something that we've like vetted and approved for quality, and like feel like it is a quality game that deserves someone's attention or time. Like that's a huge ask because there's so many people making games, but it'd be such a good experience. Because like I'm not telling Nintendo to tell me what games to play, but in a sense I kind of am. It's
Yeah.
like you
We look
guys
at
are the game people. You should be able to tell us which games are good and which ones are not worth my time, and like don't just throw junk at us because you want to make money. Like don't
right.
just throw crap at the wall and have a 12-year-old buying a game that they thought was like Call of Duty, but it's not, and it's a $2 ripoff of Call of Duty that's horrendous and barely even works.
Or, some of those games like you hear will like crash your system, or even worse. So yeah, there needs to be a process for sure. I can't imagine these companies are making that much money off of these games, like Nintendo, I mean, or PlayStation. I know they make like whatever it is, 30% off of each purchase, or I don't know if that's the exact number, but still, yeah, at the end of the day, you just got to make the correct decision for the consumer. Because I would probably buy more on the eShop if I knew that going to it wasn't such a chore of an experience, where I was going to have to rifle through 40 pages before I see 5 games that would even be, marketable to what should be their core demographic, like a guy like me who's willing to buy games, every week if there's a good sale. But
I do think the new eShop, they've made some strides to make it a bit better. So the recommendations tab, have you looked at that at all? The recommendations feature. I do like that they can see your play history. They know what games you've historically looked at and enjoyed or played, and then they'll try to recommend games that are in the same kind of category or genre. Sometimes it's games that I've already bought elsewhere, or like, I just,
for sure, yeah,
it's whatever. But so like I don't find myself often being like, oh yes, I have never heard of this game. Like I think every game that's recommended to me I've already heard of, and I've either chosen I've chosen to pass on, or just like, whatever, it's already on a wish list somewhere else. That works pretty well. It's not perfect. The great deals section is pretty trash the further you go down the list. Like at the very top, sometimes it's good if you sort by like gosh, I can't remember what you have to sort by something to make sure you're seeing actual games that are good deals that people would want to buy. And then I think the best one is just the very first one, the best sellers tab, because you can just see what people are buying right now, like what's hot and like what's getting a lot of traction. And oftentimes it's always like the games you would expect to see. It's like all of Nintendo's titles. It's Cyberpunk, it's Harry Potter. It's like all the things you would typically see. So, for us, it's not the best experience. It's like I already own almost all these games on here. However,
right.
For somebody new starting out, if they were coming to the system fresh and they're like, oh, what games, what are people playing? Like that's a valuable tab, I feel like too. So
sure. That is a great tab. And then the great deals tab, sometimes you'll see on that best sellers list, like the great deals tab's working because something random, like there was an army man game one time I saw on the great deals thing. It's like it was on sale for 73 cents or something like that. And it's like no one's buying this game unless it's 73 cents, but it's like number 7 on the top 20 list,
Oh yeah, sometimes it will show up on the best sellers because it's so cheap. Yeah.
And that Army Man game's probably garbage. And I'm not saying garbage games should be deleted, but that one didn't seem malicious. It looked kind of like those Army Man games that we used to play as a kid that they always came out for on PlayStation and Nintendo 64, but just kind of like a modern version of that. But
yeah.
Anyway.
I imagine there's content filters too. Now that I'm thinking about it, like I'm sure, I don't know if you've had to employ those yet on your systems, but we're kind of getting close to the time where we might need to. Like, I'm pretty certain you can put on parental controls on your system so that, like, yeah, when you're scrolling through different game categories or lists, a lot of the stuff that like would be explicit or like just egregious is usually cut out. I think
look for them, and if they're there, they're not easy.
They're hard to find. So that's one more thing.
It's like, fix. Okay, so it's like cut out mature games. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that. I don't want to cut out all mature games. I play a lot.
I need to see them.
Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about like filthy games? Like, can we get an F rating?
Filthy, disgusting. So I don't know. I mean, like in terms of a fix for that, I think the curated, it would be really cool if there was a Nintendo curated or, publisher curated list that was like, here's stuff that like we think you'd like and, have been vetted by our team of people that look at all the games we put on our shop. Obviously the other stuff is still out there if you want to go find it. But we're going to kind of put you in this channel right now that lets you see stuff that we feel like is actually quality. And that's just, I mean, like, that's just so subjective, probably. It's so hard. And I just feel sad for the small developer that's trying to make a game and, like, it's just not good. And Nintendo's like, sorry,
Well,
we're keeping you out.
too bad, man. Like, go make a game on your TI-85 and sell it to a high school kid. Like, if you don't have what it takes to cut it, then that's the price we have to pay, right?
That's true. Yeah, maybe there need to be less developers trying to put crap on the eShop. It's like, hey, we don't need a thousand. I don't know how many games get released in a year, but it is kind of a gross number now. How many?
Yeah. I mean, the alternative, Jake, is you have a developer who makes a good game and no one ever plays it because they don't have a marketing budget, and it's impossible for someone to just download every game every week now and play it because there's like 50 games coming out a week. And you can't just no matter what kind of tastemaker you are, you just have to crapshoot and pick some. So what if that good game never gets discovered because there's 10 bad games,
It's 1,000. Okay, this is gonna make you barf a little bit. Okay. So I wish I could show you this chart. But basically, I don't know if this is totally accurate, but this feels like it could still be. This is from Statista. It's just like a random statistic. Number of Steam games released on Steam worldwide from 2004 to 2025. And it just goes to, it's a bar chart that goes to the years. So in 2004, there were 14. 2005, there were 15. 2006, there were 86. 2007, there were 110. And it kind of hovered around like a few hundred all the way up until 2013, 500. And then it jumped to 1,600 games. And it just, the chart just does this. Up and up and up and up and up and up. In 2024, there were 16,000 games released in that year on Steam.
Yeah,
16,000 games
in 1 year. That's incredible.
In 1 year. In 2025, there were 15,000. So it went down just a little bit. And I'm not sure where we're at in 2026, but that kind of addresses your problem right there, Landry.
Yeah.
There's too many people making crappy games.
Exactly. It's too easy now. The tools are awesome, I'm sure. Like everything, like editing video now, at least I know it's like you could probably be a 7-year-old and know how to click on a couple things and edit pretty good video now with AI. I don't know how good the game making tools are, but I imagine they're
getting better.
Pretty smart, to put out crap.
Ooh, yeah, with AI, I don't know. We're about to see a whole lot more, probably, Landry.
Yeah, that's why I think they need to that's why they have to make a rule pretty quickly because, every other market's getting flooded with crap. The music industry, the book industry.
Yeah.
We need to put some walls up quickly.
Yeah. Oof, some way to vet and verify. Jeez Louise. All right. Well, I don't know if we can fix it, but we've given you guys some things to think about. And maybe the solution really is just, hey, if you're making games and they're poo-poo, just cut it out, please. Just stop. We don't want them in the shop. All right, well, let's get to our last segment here, Landry. I want to know what you've been playing. We haven't had a chance to talk in a while.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about this.
So yeah, why don't you go ahead and start us out? What you've been playing, some highs and lows, and if you can score it, would you give it a score?
I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh yeah,
or on the Switch. I played it on the Wii U, man. I loved it. I always said it was like one of my top 3 Wii U games, and now I'm willing to, like, this replay, I'm willing to call it like one of my favorite RPGs ever. I think it's that good. I think the story is like surprisingly very good. I kind of on the Wii U version was like, the acting's a little stiff, and I kind of skipped all the scenes. And this time I was like, I loved this game. I'm just gonna listen to a lot of the dialogue, and the dialogue's not bad. The acting is not great. But the story preface is really cool. You're basically like Earth was attacked by an alien species, and everybody had to evacuate on this giant ship. And then that same alien race comes and like blows the ship up, so they all land on this alien planet. But you find out that every person on that planet is basically a robot version of themselves being controlled in some kind of like the base part of the ship, and they're like preserving their lives, and so they're like
Whoa.
operating with their minds, the robots and stuff. It's
Whoa.
pretty sweet. And there's a giant like building with a huge countdown clock in you can see it from
Mm.
almost everywhere on the planet, that just like basically if that runs to zero, everyone dies. And so, there's a lot of cool narrative stuff around that, and there's also a war going on this planet, and you're involved in it. um, it's really cool, and that's all fun. Narrative's fine. Like I would give it probably like a 4 out of 5 on the narrative front. But the gameplay for me is just an absolute 5 out of 5. It's very exploration based. You're constantly trying to chart this planet out. You're setting down data probes so you can map out the planet.
That's
And
cool.
every data probe you set down, you can do stuff like add like battle stat boost to that area, or
Mhm.
get more gold from that area, or mine other resources from it. It's just really neat. There's a really cool social element to it where you're trying to build relationships with different characters as you go along with your active party, which you can
Yeah.
change out on the fly with a bunch of different members. But you always have your main guy that you're leveling up. And I think it kind of plays like a computer, like a online RPG. What do they call it? Massive multiplayer online
Oh,
RPG. It kind of
RPG.
has that kind of style of combat.
Okay.
But man, about 30 hours into the game, which is just crazy, it takes this sudden turn where you're like, oh my gosh, this was already like a 10 on the gameplay loop. And then it just somehow gets even better because you can suddenly fly. So imagine Breath of the Wild, and then they just give you a plane, and they're like, "Here, you can fly around the world wherever you want to go now."
Have fun.
And that's what you can do. You can get to all these cool new areas and just start uncovering new secrets in the world. It's so neat. It's so cool. I love the game. I don't understand why everybody else doesn't love it as much as me, but it's like,
I feel like I'm hearing more and more people talk about how good the game is. But yeah, it does feel like one that still does not get a lot of press or coverage. Really, it's just like
yeah.
I've heard you talk about it. I've heard Matthew talk about how much he loves it. I just feel like there's more people that I know now that are like, yeah, it's amazing. You should definitely check it out.
And I'll say this, like, and I don't have anything against Xenoblade Chronicles 1 through 3.
Hmm.
I don't find those games to be as good as X, and there's a slight variation in their gameplay loop. First of all, 1 through 3 are very good games, and they're really awesome. And if you like those games, you'll probably like X. I just think X is much more exploration focused. Like that is almost all of the missions you're on. You're going to be exploring some new place, and there's other ways to play it, I'm sure, but that's the way I've been playing it. So,
I love that.
yeah, and in the other games, they have all these like really complex systems, and so does X. I think that's the one thing that it's a little bit of a steep uphill climb. It's not nearly as complex, I don't think, as the other Chronicles games, though. So,
Hmm. That's really cool, man. Yeah, I would want to play that game, but I feel like the only thing that turns me away from it is just the commitment, the
yeah,
hours, because I know it's a big game.
it is a big game. Yeah. So,
So
if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're like, man, I need a good handheld game that I can just kind of chip away at over the course of a year or two,
this
it's
is the game.
that, because it's not one of those games where when you come back, you're going to know what you need to do, and you're going
That's
to
good.
be fine. If you put it down for like 6 or 8 months, you may have a little bit of a learning curve again with the combat, but for the most part, they're auto attacks. So it's just it's pretty chill.
Very cool. Yeah, I feel like it's making me think of Dragon Quest 11 in
Yeah.
some ways, where it's a game
That's,
you can come back to and enjoy, and it's
you and
more
I both
about
did that. I think it
exploring.
took about a year to beat that each. So,
Hmm. Took me longer for sure than you. Well, cool. It's really funny you mentioning kind of the initial storyline, because what I'm playing, Landry, is Pokemon Pokopia. We already talked about it at the
yeah.
top a little bit, but I want to go into a little more detail. I picked it up, I think. I hadn't even read reviews. I didn't read really any reviews about it. I had just seen people like singing its praises, and I was like, you know what? I was like, I'll check it out. I was like, I'm just gonna get this and just kind of mess around. And It is exactly what you said from Dragon Quest, your experience with Dragon Quest builders. Like, it is so addicting. It is a game that it's the first time in a long time where I've had to be like, I need to take a break from playing video games today for the rest of the day because I've played so much. And now, obviously, this is a unique scenario because I'm in between jobs right now, and so
Yeah,
like I've had way more time, and the kids are in daycare, so I'm just like, I can
bro, live
I
your
can
best
play a lot,
life. That's awesome.
and but like I play so much that I'm like I need to take a break from this. But it's so good. It's so good, and the story, Landry, it made me laugh. Very similar. You wake up on the planet as Ditto, and all the humans are gone. You don't know where the humans have gone, and seemingly they've that's the whole story. I'm not going to ruin anything for you, but you're basically trying to figure out what happened. Where'd all the Pokemon go? Where all the humans go? And it's just like it's a checklist game, but the loop that they put you on and the little stories that are being told in each of the new environments as you like progress the game are really really like they're more compelling than I thought they would be. Just the like environmental storytelling, and it's just fun. It's very bare bones. There's not like super in depth crafting that you have to like understand and know. It's just like, hey, go plant some grass over here, and the Pokemon will pop out. Okay, that guy, he knows how to do fire stuff. So you need to go make a fire with him. Okay, great. Hey, look, there's an electric Pokemon over there. You should go turn on that light bulb over there. Like, it's very simple stuff like that, but it's all backed with the Pokemon and Nintendo charm and like quality.
Yeah,
So you have very familiar tunes that are like reorchestrated or retooled a little bit, and the environments. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but like the environments are tied to places from Pokemon games, obviously.
sweet. That's
And
cool.
like those hints kind of get unveiled as you move through the different areas. And it's like, oh, this is cool. Oh, that's cool. That's where I am. Yeah, it's a very charming game. I can see myself just kind of playing through the main storyline and like doing what I need to do in each area. Part of the OCD in me wants to go back and like clean everything up and make it perfect and like get it looking the way I want it to, but I know I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to enjoy it for what it is. I'm going to like do the things I want to do and kind of just laser focus on stuff that I think's fun and then just boot it when I'm done. But I put a lot of hours in so far. I probably played at least 15 to 20 hours already. So,
Nice. Good
so
work, man. Yeah, that is the type of game that I would want to clean up everything on. I swear, man, the Switch having it portable has just really like lit a fire under like the completionist in me, and I really wish the Switch had trophies. Well, sometimes I wish it didn't because I'm like, man, I want the trophies just to have like a little note like, hey, I completed this. This is great. It would make me feel good about myself. But then everybody would see my trophies and I would be ashamed for how much I played these games. So that
oh,
it's like,
no.
it's like, bro, I got like way too many platinums. This guy has no life.
Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. I mean, it's what you're doing at the time. You're just having fun
That's
with
right.
it.
That's
But
right.
I don't know if I'd score it yet, but it's very good. That's what I'll say. It's very good. It's surprising me. And Mark's been talking about his experience trying to play and, trying to finish Donkey Kong Bonanza and how it's like he doesn't want to go back to it every time he picks the game up. He's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to play this. Every time I pick up Pokopia, I'm like excited to jump in and see like what's changed or what's updated and, what's new in each area. So it's
Yeah.
very good.
Awesome. Well, I never scored Xenoblade, but I would give Chronicles X a 9 out of 10. Very solid 9.
That is a game that I will get. I know it. I think what'll get me is just a price drop, like just a sale that it
I
goes
got
on.
it. I got it like 2 weeks ago for $30 at Walmart. I think I
That's a
sent you all
deal.
the text that it was there, and it was there for like 3 days. And then, literally, like 3 days after I got it, they announced the Switch 2 upgrade for $5, which I wish it had been free, but hey, I'll take the
That's an
4K. And
easy price to pay.
there was a frame rate update that really, I mean, it went from 30 to 60, and
That's huge.
it was
Yeah.
noticeable,
Yeah. 60 really is noticeable these days.
especially if
When,
you're in a giant open world. You know,
mhm. Yeah. I mean, like with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom getting those updates, like those are entirely different games now, the way they play. You're like, oh, wow, this looks amazing.
Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about Xenoblade Chronicles X It's probably the worst music I've ever heard from a video game in my entire life.
Oh no.
But it's endearing, man. Here's what it sounds like to me is like I have no idea how this was made in 2016. It sounds like a PS2 game that was made in like 2001, but just like the cheesiest, like there's lots of woes and ahs and like it's like rock based, very like but like
Okay.
not like alternative rock or American rock, just like rock. It sounds like somebody who grew up playing in an orchestra his whole life, and then a producer was like, "You should make a rock song," and it's like really,
I
really
don't really
wild.
know how to, but okay, here we go.
Yeah, it's really wild, and it's kind of endearing. Like it becomes sort of catchy at a some. But I remember turning it on and being like, "What the hell is this?" And to this day, I'll just be cruising around the city. I'm like, "This music is
So
so
bad.
bad. It's unbelievable how bad it is." But that means also great podcast game, great audiobook game. If you're listening to like an audiobook that's just
You're
kind of
not
like
missing out
handy,
on good tunes.
like
Yeah.
a
You're just
dungeon. What is it called? Like a dungeon, Carl or whatever.
Dungeon Crawler Carl.
That's it. Yeah, I was gonna say that, and I was like, it's not Dungeon Crawler, is it? But
Mhm.
yeah, I've been listening to Harry Potter on tape
Oh,
lately.
the new cast.
Yeah, it's really great. So I'll
I
put
haven't
that
listened
on
to it.
while I'm playing, and I've listened to those books like a million billion times. So it's good.
What's one more time with different audience? Who's choking on water? Who's the Dumbledore narrator?
I can't remember to be honest, but the cast is
It's Hugh
crazy, dude.
Lowry.
Like, that's right.
It's Hugh
Yeah,
Lowry.
it's like Keira Knightley's in it, and
Oh wow.
Kit Harington, and a bunch of other names. There's a lot of people there that and there. I mean, it is immaculate. The other thing about, by the way, Harry Potter full cast audible audiobooks. That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Um, the sound production, dude. It's like you're watching a movie. Every
You're
single
listening
scene
to
in
a
the
movie.
book has sound effects.
That's
So
cool.
there's some score that pops in, but the sound effects are crazy. I mean, like even if they're literally just having a conversation in a room, there's some kind of backdrop of like a whizzing from something magical going on, or it's just really, really well done. Tons of
That's
money
awesome.
poured into this thing, and I'm near the end of book 3, but I've just now gotten all the credits. I bought all of them, and now I canceled my Audible subscription. But uh,
Heck yeah,
pretty
dude.
sick, pretty sick.
I I had that first experience. I think they had a name for them. I think they called them like graphic. What do they call them? I forget what they call them. But The Hobbit. There's a version of The Hobbit that is that, and it has like different narrators for different characters, and there's sound effects, and there's music that comes in, and it was like really good.
Hmm.
Um,
Man, Andy Serkis's Hobbit's so good. I don't know if I could ever go away from that one, but
it
that's
is good.
good.
I'm listening to the Andy Serkis Lord of the Rings trilogy right now, or trying to, and I'm in the
Are you
first book,
blown away?
and I'm like, yo, this is so boring. Like
What?
Andy Serkis is doing a great job, but holy crap, nothing happens for the first third of that book, dude. They're just like walking through the forest forever. I'm like, yo,
Yeah, the
get
Tom
out of
Bombadil
here.
chapter is arguably the only chapter in that series that just doesn't
The,
need to be there.
the
A lot
start
of
of that
fans like
book to
it.
Tom Bombadil, I've heard, is very slow, and then after that, it's like fun. But I'm like,
I
dude,
love it. I love the
get
whole thing.
get
But
out of here.
I will say, like, once you get to Two Towers, it's just gnarly, man. Like
All
the
gas,
one
no
chapter
brakes.
that's a little well, there's definitely some breaks. It's the Treebeard chapter that is the one like, whoa, dude, why is this 3 hours long in the audiobook or like 50 pages in the chapter? And the audiobook, like Andy Serkis like slows his voice down for Treebeard, and you're like, bro, let's put this on 2 times speed.
1.5, 2, yeah,
Yeah.
2 speed. I do speed it up sometimes. I'm usually a 1.5 listener because I feel like that's the
Okay.
best speed for me. But
When I'm doing
oof.
nonfiction books, I'm at 2 easily. But
Mm.
lately, if I'm in a fiction book, my attention wanders easier, so I need to do 1. Maybe it's just because I'm getting old. I used to do 1.5 for everything, but
Oh wow, wow, I like that. Slowing down. Hey, slowing down is good for you, Landry. That's what they say.
I love it. Trying to read 12 books this year, trying to cut back a little bit, you know?
Good for you.
That's
Good
right.
for you. All right. Well, y'all. Unfortunately, that marks the end of our podcast. Listeners, what do you think about the state of gaming in 2026? Are you happy with where we're at? And what are you hoping to see? And if you have any solutions for E-Slop, let us know. Landry, as always, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being an excellent co-host. Anything you'd like to plug or mention while you're on here?
No, man, not at the moment. We got another season of Blast for the Past. I guess I said that right as I'm about to plug something. Blast for the Past coming up. It's a film podcast that me and my buddy Tab do. He's really funny. I'm the same I am here. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good show. Pretty good show.
Heck yeah. Blast to the Past, and that's on all podcast services.
Everything you could listen to a podcast on, it's on.
I don't think like some obscure device out there that is a podcast device. Your OG iTunes library that when podcasts first came out, you could probably find it there.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you do have any more questions or topic suggestions, please email me at jake@bitbloggers.com. And until next time, y'all, this has been BitCast. Thanks for tuning in to talk about some stuff.